All right, good morning, my people of faith. Let's take another walk. Let's talk about why do men look at women not as a woman, but but as an opportunity, and why do women look at a man not as a man, but an opportunity? We heard this saying, or if not, here it goes, that a person will only treat you as how you treat yourself. But what if you never known how to treat yourself in a way that a person would treat you the way you desire to be treated? Or what if you did know it and you walked away from it and you're trying to get back to it but can't get back to it? This world is not evil. We live in an evil day, which means the people are covered in the evil, but the world is not evil. And what I mean by the world, for the world to be evil, there would have to be a coverage over the world. Facts prove that it is an evil day, right? The truth is, the evil day is an illusion. What I'm trying to say, God made progressions and he made a way for the evil day not to apply to any individual who don't want to be a part of the evil day. You could be in this world, but not of the world. Excuse me. If you are of the world, then you're going to inherit and be a part of, or be adopted, or be descendants of this evil day. Hmm. If everybody is not just, I won't say everybody. If you notice that if you wherever you go or whatever place that you see yourself at, a gathering, a function, an event, and if everybody looked the same, then that's a spirit there. And everyone who looked the same have cultivated. Is that the word I want to say? They have gathered in that spirit, which means to say the only way you can be in this place if you have a like mind. The only way you can be a part of this event or this atmosphere is to be like minded. So if the world is full of hatred, for you to be a part of that world, you would have to be full of hatred. If you're not, then you become the enemy. Okay? Now, why do men look at women in a way that doesn't honor her? And it's like it becomes impossible to value her as beautiful. Okay, let me say it this way. If I can look at you and I can immediately go towards your eye shape, your nose structure, the curves of your body, the length of your body, then there's something inside of you as well as there's something inside of me. So the woman may say, well, I'm not thinking about those things. that don't necessarily mean that that spirit is not a part of you. We have entertained thoughts, which are spirits, from the womb of our mother's belly. And we are covered in a world that is covered in those self same thoughts, or even thoughts that's against the thoughts that we have inherited since the mother's womb. So let's for an example, if I look at porn all day, or for a good deal of time, how am I going to look at a woman? I'm going to adapt to the spirit that is covering me. Whatever that I put my soul inside of, whatever, like if I listen to a certain type of music, or if I watch a certain type of image, or if I read a certain type of literature, that's going to cover my soul. That's going to be like my direction of what my image is going to be, or what the standard is going to be, or how I'm going to perceive people to be. We live in an evil day, the day that is going to cut. The evil is going to cover a a great deal of people, but that doesn't mean that you have to be a part of that evil day. How can I see how as a man? How can I see you as a woman when all I've known of a woman is to be what I've seen? How can I see you separated from the rest? Or how can I see you separated from the image that has been tattooed in my soul? If I've been told that this is what a woman looks like, and if I learn up under that teaching, how am I going to, what is going to be, either I'm going to try to form the woman into that, I am going to be disappointed if she's not that, or I'm going to abuse her if she's not that in some form of way, because she's not what's installed inside of my soul. If all I saw was women loving their children, loving their parents, then I'm going to have a teacher in that direction. And for me not to go in that direction, or for me to treat a woman in a different direction, I will have to defy, or I have to oppose, go up against what was inside of me. The average guy don't have a blueprint of what a beautiful woman is. A beautiful woman will never be physical, because she shines from the inside out. A beautiful woman, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That is so true, because what's inside that individual soul makes the projection of what is acceptable or what is not. But that is based upon what it has accumulated over time. So if I'm at the age of 3 years old and I see this type of woman, she's boisterous, she's loud, she's obnoxious, she's reckless, she's destructive. That's going to be my image until I see something different. And then I have to make a choice then to say which one is going to give me peace. Which one is something about one I can receive love from, right? So the average guy doesn't have love inside him. So what is he going to project? What is he going to accept? What is he going to make in his image? What has been made in his image? More likely is going to be a violent type of woman. And if she's not violent, he's going to install in her this spirit that's inside of him. Now, if either one has been victimized to this, there is, we call her a redeemer. There is someone who can tear all that down. Okay, I'm a guy who have watched pornography for over half of my life, right? So I have a perception of how women would be, or how I think that they are. Prior to that, I thought all women were innocent. After watching pornography and understanding that there's a lot of women that's up under that spirit of of such influence, that my perception of women changed. So it became less of treating them of innocence and more treating them of violence. That means my job is not to love them. My job is to destroy them. How can I destroy them? How can I love them unless I'm willing to? How can I love them if destruction is inside of me based upon what I saw of them? Unless there's something more powerful that can deliver me from the destruction that's inside of me, that I may be able to love them. The average guy is not going to humble himself before God or before something of good and stay in that committed humility. They're going to go there just for a second, but humility is going to offer them and ask them such a price to give up that it's going to be too high for them to cost. It's going to be too high. The cost is going to be very high. It's going to ask them to give up fear. And it's going to ask them to go to a place that they have never experienced before, which is called love. This is going to succeed the love past their father, their mother, or the absentee, or the vacancy, the void of their mother and their father, or anything they have ever known what they thought what love was. It's going to ask them to go far from their neighborhood, go far from their household, go far from their city, their state. It's going to say go past the natural realm of what sizes, shapes, and what time is. It's going to ask them to go into another dimension. Just for this individual to plant a seed, or for a seed to be planted within this man, so he can birth that into a woman. So she can carry that seed and birth that into another woman. That woman can birth a seed in her man child. That it may continue on, right? On the flip side of that is the opposite. This is why it's called the evil day, because the opposite has been doing this reproduction at a large scale, at an alarming rate at that. It is past color barrier, it's past ethnicity, it's past religion, it's past customs, it's past all that. This is why it's called the evil day, because it went past households, it went past families, it went past cities, it went past states. This is covering the whole world. But there's a liberator, but the cost is high to go to this liberation. You're going to have to leave everything that you know. This is called the act of faith. This is why the scripture says without faith it's impossible to please God, because you have to believe that he is God and that he is a God that reward those who seek after him. It's so much. This very same God that I'm describing, or that I'm talking about, is asking for one opportunity, especially for the person who has been hurt the most, especially for the person who feel that there's no hope in the world, there's no love in the world, or their life is just messed up, or whatever case, that the worst of worst, especially to that person, he has a significant invitation to them. Because if they can believe in him, they would start a wildfire. Because there's no better example of how great love is than it conquers something that was considered unlovable. Every woman is lovable. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you did. I don't care what was done. None of that matters. That's all an illusion. The the reason why that you're not progressing inside of love is because the seed of what you've been through, the remembrance, the familiarity is there. And it's like a puppet master that's pulling your strings, that no matter what you do is there to stop you. This Redeemer that I'm speaking of, it goes past what we were taught. It goes past, it could be very personal, that it can really change your life. And I'm not talking about change your life like, okay, you go from being broke to having some money. That's crumbs. Money is crumbs. Let me say that again. Money is like dust in the corner of a floor, behind a door. Money is crumbs, because the best that it can do is grant you a power that's temporal. It's going to be temporary. This is why when you buy something with it, it dies. And what I mean by that it dies, soon you get it, the newness of it disappears. Money is like a dangling carrot. You go after this carrot. Once you never reach this carrot, which is to say that you'll never have enough money to make this perfect image of peace. So all it does is feed you a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie. So this becomes the root, because we love to go after this money, because we want a better image for our life, which all our decisions will be made upon this root. This is why the love of money is the root of all evil. So if this is inside of a man's heart, how is he going to love a woman? Will he give her the sweat off his back? No. It's impossible to love her. It's impossible to value her, because she is no good to him. Why is she no good to him? She may have all good inside of her. She's no good to him because there's no good to him. You're only going to be what you are. And you're only going to draw who you are. If you have death, DEATH, inside of you, then you're going to draw it. There was a saying how good girls turn bad, or why do the good girl get the thug guy? We have inherited things from our parents. It's funny about this. We have inherited things from parents. We have inherited things from our neighborhood. We have inherited things from our upbringing, from uh, any form of communication, teachings, etc. We have learned how to be destructive. We have learned how to be cursed. We have learned how to be evil. We have learned how to be away from a place of peace and love. These are thoughts that's constantly inside of our soul. That's inside of our mind. That's inside of our willpower. That's inside of our emotions. That's inside of our intellect. That's inside of our imaginations. So if it's inside all of these, this is what we're going to project. This is what we're going to draw to. No matter how hard we try to walk away from it, run away from it, this is what we're going to be until we meet the Redeemer. The Redeemer has to permanently remove the root so that it won't surface and that it don't reproduce a fruit, because this fruit is going to have seeds in it of that first fruit of destruction. And if one fruit, or say one apple, have several seeds in it, it's going to reproduce more apples. So if you have a seed inside of you that is of the curse, of the fear, of the death, you're going to reproduce it. You're going to produce a fruit that's going to reproduce more fruit inside of your soul. So you ever hear the scripture or heard a person say that when you bring in one deadly sin or one sin, that sin invites several more or six more, seven more of its kind. So if you invite it in hatred, you're going to invite in jealousy. You're going to invite in envy. You're going to invite in dishonesty. You're going to invite in fornication. You're going to invite in adultery. It's an automatic thing. When a guy sleeps with one woman that is not his wife, he has slept with 50 different women. It's just a matter of time until he humbles himself and separates from that original sin. That one seed is going to birth into many. My life is that example. So a person say like, well, that's just you. It's not just me. Okay, anyway. Why I can't, as a man, look at a woman and see how beautiful she actually could be, is, and that is trying to be. Because I have death inside of me. I have fear inside of me. So I can't help but to destroy her. She is nothing but a conquest. She is nothing but just shapes and sizes. Because what's talking to me is planting the image on her that she is just her breast. She is just her butt. She is just her hips. She is just this. She is just the opportunity to get between her legs. She is just this. The greatest decision that I ever made was the greatest offer that I ever received. The greatest offer that I ever received was Jesus saying to me personally, you give me your very worst, and I'll give you my very best. It's easy to ask Jesus, or easy to ask God, or easily to ask something that is of purity to give itself without you giving up something. This is like oil and water don't mix, right? For water to be dominant, you have to get rid of the oil. For oil to be dominant, you got to get rid of the water. But mixing those two together, you're going to have a problem. So if Jesus is giving the invitation, I will love you always, I will be kind to you always, I will be peaceful to you always, I will be patient to you always, I will be understanding to you always. He's asking you to give up everything that would not be peaceful for you always, that would not be loving to you always, that would not be kind to you always, that will be dishonest to you always. He's asking you to give up this. Separate from that. But he's not asking you to actually do the work. He's not asking you to go inside of your soul and say, I'm finna get rid of cussing. I'm finna get rid of lying. I'm finna get rid of all these things. Majority of the stuff that we have inside of our soul is inherited. It had been passed on from generations before us or the generation before us. So he just asks us to give him an opportunity to come inside of our soul. He only can come inside of our soul with the permission that we say, Lord Jesus, if you're real, you're God, whatever, come inside my soul. What he wants to do is do immediate cleaning and get rid of all the stuff. He's going to do all the work. All you have to do is just walk towards him. Wherever he is, you go. Now, who is Jesus? You'll see Jesus. If you ever been in an atmosphere where there was nothing but love, and I'm not talking about feelings of happiness or feelings of where you get goosebumps and everything. It's like you in this place and there is no fear, and like your soul is. It's like your soul is finally at rest. It's finally at peace. This is the presence of the Lord. Most times, this is a personal, individual thing versus a gathering. Sometimes you can go to a function that can introduce you to this, but that is only to lead you to the personal experience, for you to experience it for yourself, by yourself. Not to be separated from people, but for Jesus himself to come inside. So like if you went to church and you felt this presence that you never felt before, and not just clamping your hands or stomping your feet, that was the expression of the presence that you felt. But the presence that you felt was like nothing on this earth has ever provided for you before, has never given you such a presence. When we go to church, actually, this is what we go for, right? For the presence of God. So if we've received that presence now is inside of us. That presence wants to do is take you to a special place. We call them prayer closets. We call it a place where a secret place where only God and you can be. You go inside this place. Let's say like if you if a person decided to make this special place their car. Every time they get inside their car, they sit there in silence for a second. The presence that they experienced when they went to church will come out, and it will cover the inside of the car. And they don't want to leave this car because this presence is so fulfilling. It sets their soul free from all pain, all thoughts of evil, all stuff like that. They don't want to leave this presence. So this is the introductory to them having a personal one-on-one relationship with that presence. Because every time they go into this car, this presence is meeting them. This is how the relationship with God starts. So like we went to an event, whatever that it was, and we felt this presence. Now there's two type of presence that's like this. There's one of good and there's one of evil. Where when you go into an atmosphere and it's like the worst of the worst, where you can feel like you're just not welcome, right? That you don't fit, right? So you go there and it's not about the drinking, it's not about the smoking, it's not about the, whatever they're doing there. That's not it. It's just a force inside. There's a spiritual force that covers you that makes you feel worse than what you did when you first got there. We take that presence is inside of us, and now we're going to go to a closet, and it's going to be a place that we're going to go there. This is how we listen to certain type of music. This is how we look at certain type of television shows. This is how we this is how we read certain type of books. Because the presence that's inside of us has to feed. So for a person to be separated, going back to this, for that person to be in the presence of Jesus, they have to meet Jesus where Jesus is at. It starts up with them saying, if the person were to say, Jesus, if you're God, if you're Lord, truly Lord, over all the pain that I'm going through, if you are separated, if you can separate me from all that, lead me to the way where you are. The spirit that's his spirit that's on the earth. This is why I said, like, if we live in an evil day, you don't have to be evil. All we have to do is ask for the one who liberated all the evilness from off the world. All right? So we ask him to lead us to where he is. His spirit is on the earth. It will lead you to where he is. You will find yourself in this atmosphere of love. You would like to go back to that facility, that event, and every time. So like if you went to a concert and you received this love, you can't go to that concert every day because that concert is not there every day. But that concert did the work. It planted the seed inside of you of love. So now you carry that seed inside of you. Now what the evil day or the evil one wants to do is take that seed out of you so it can plant his seed back in you. So, but if you can find your prayer closet or a closet where it's just you in that presence, like I said, for example, if you went to this concert, that presence is inside of you. You take that and say, I'm going to make my car every day I get in my car. This presence is going to meet me here. That presence will meet you there. So no matter what the world is doing around you, you could always go inside this car and have this presence. Now, the point of me saying all this is most guys have never had the presence of God in their life. Most guys have had the presence of the opposite of their life. They have never have peace. Most guys are broken. I mean, broken. And we're taught to carry brokenness as like a trophy, as it is an honor. Keep moving. Don't cry. Don't worry about that. You keep moving. I'm not saying a man should be crying, but there's nothing wrong with if you did. But until that man learns how to humble himself into the presence of love and invite love inside, they will carry. It's like they will literally be up under a curse. It doesn't matter what family they're from. If they carrying this, they will look at their family and they will see that their family is one and the same, and they will try their very best to separate from what they see. But no matter where they go, they always will be like their family. They always will see the results of their family because they haven't separated from the actual curse.